Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Vrindavana Dham Jayo Radhe Shyam Lalita Vishaka Jayo Radhe Shyam Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Sat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Sat Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जय श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधाकुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगमयी यमुनामयी की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। बृहद मृदंग की जय। सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे राम। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome everyone. Today we are studying 10th chapter titled The Opulence of the Absolute. Text 19. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. Hante te kathayiṣyāmi. divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ. prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha. nāsty anto vistarasya. hanta kathayiṣyāmi. divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ. prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha. nāsty anto vistarasya. hanta kathayiṣyāmi. divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ. prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha. nāsty anto vistarasya.
śrī-bhagavān uvāca hanta te kathayiṣyāmi divyāḥ ātma-vibhūtayaḥ prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha nāsty anto vistarasya. śrī-bhagavān uvāca hanta te kathayiṣyāmi divyāḥ ātma-vibhūtayaḥ prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha nāsty anto vistarasya. śrī-bhagavān uvāca hanta te kathayiṣyāmi divyāḥ ātma-vibhūtayaḥ prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha nāsty anto vistarasya.
śrī-bhagavān uvāca
śrī-bhagavān uvāca
hanta te kathayiṣyāmi divyāḥ ātma-vibhūtayaḥ prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha nāsty anto vistarasya. śrī-bhagavān uvāca hanta te kathayiṣyāmi divyāḥ ātma-vibhūtayaḥ prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha
nāsty anto vistarasya me.
Mataji, you want to read?
śrī-bhagavān uvāca. ātma kathayiṣyāmi. divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ. prādhānyataḥ kuru-śreṣṭha. nāsty vistarasya me.
Word to word meaning. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Hanta, yes, te, onto you. Kathayiṣyāmi, I shall speak. Divyāḥ, divine. He, certainly. ātma-vibhūtayaḥ, personal opulences. Prādhānyataḥ, which are principal. Kuru-śreṣṭha, O best of the Kurus. Asti, there is not. Antaḥ, limit. Vistarasya, to the extent. Me, my. Translation Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. Purport. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotees as nectar. Thus, the devotees enjoy them. In discussing Krishna's opulences and his divine energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He therefore agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The word prādhānyataḥ, principle, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all. And the vibhuti as used in this verse refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amara-kośa dictionary, it is stated that vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. The impersonalist or pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulences of the Supreme Lord, nor the manifestations of his divine energies. Both in the material world and in the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now Krishna is describing what we can directly perceive by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So, welcome everyone to today's discussion on the 10th chapter, verse 19. Before I begin, I beg for blessings so that I can speak whatever I understood. Definitely none of it is my realization, but I aspire that I will have realizations. So this is Vibhuti Yoga. This is the 10th chapter. It is talking about the opulences of the Absolute. So before we go into today's verse, we want to see a little prelude how the discussion has coming to this point where Krishna is talking about his opulences. Now 10th chapter is it's developing a vision for the people who are not aware of Krishna, and people who are becoming devotees of Krishna, and people who are devotees of Krishna. So it is a developing vision for them. So first 7 shlokas is about source of everything. How Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna highlighted importance of bhakti in the 9th chapter. So in the 10th chapter, in the beginning, he is saying how even the demigods and sages, they cannot comprehend Krishna's personality, his qualities, and he himself being the Supreme Brahman. Who can reveal? Only Krishna can reveal. So he is creating that Shastra Chakshushu, right? So that, whatever he's saying, that is becoming the Shastra. And when we accept that, we are able to get to know Krishna, right? So the first 7 verses is about that. And the next 4 verses, that is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, the Chatur Shloki. Now the Chatur Shloki is talking about how Krishna is the source of both material and spiritual manifestation. Now usually what happens in the modern education, we have an ascending process to understand anything, right? And it's basically based on the experimentation and based on the hypothesis and experimentation, and we get results. And it may work, it may not work. And as we know, the human being has 4 defects, right? Imperfect senses, to be illusion, to make mistakes, and what is cheating propensity. And out of the 4, 3 can be somehow controlled. 3 cannot be done anything about it. But 1 thing can be controlled, that is the cheating propensity. So we have to accept Krishna so that we don't cheat ourselves, that we know Krishna. So we have to accept the descending process which is laid out by the disciplic succession for us. So where we hear from the authorities, the Shruti Praman. So an example Prabhupada often quotes that to find out who is the father of the child, who is the best source to find? Mother. That mother can give the testimony. We don't need to go to any other source. So similarly, if we want to know Krishna and what is the bhakti and even the process of even creation, maintenance and destruction, even about the cosmic world, who is the best person to ask or know from is from Krishna. So when we approach Krishna, what happens? 2 things happen to us. One is we will start to understand our identity, like who we are. That is addressed. And the second, also the purpose of our existence gets cleared. Now, coming back to the Chatur Shloki. So in the Chatur Shloki is like a roadmap. It gives you what should be your journey from the beginning to the end, right? And basically, Chatur Shloki is giving us an understanding about Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan. Sambandha is knowledge about relationship between us and Krishna and the universe. Abhidheya is the practice and the application of this knowledge in our daily life, right? Then Prayojan, it is a mature fruit of that practiced and applied knowledge. And what is that Prayojan? One is that we become spiritually elevated. Our consciousness gets uplifted. And we develop unbounded love for Krishna. Now, for the people who think understanding that, only the modern science is science, but the Vedas, what they describe is not science. For them, we can tell, actually, Gita is also a spiritual science. Why? Like if you say Sambandha, what are we doing? We are doing hypothesis, right? First, then we put that into practice. That is experimentation. That is the abhidaya. And what is the prayojan? The definite result. That is observation or conclusions. That means we are elevated in our consciousness. And because we follow Krishna's process, we are sure of the prayojan. Right? Now the next verses starting from 12 to 42, Krishna is going to lay out answering the questions of Arjuna. First of all, Arjuna glorifies the Lord. How is the Supreme Brahman, how is beginless, and how is the source of all the creation. And then he puts out the questions that, how else I can meditate upon you? When I'm every day in my daily duties, how else I can meditate upon you? And I want to hear more about you. And here Prabhupada also opens the purport saying that why does a devotee want to know? He's not just interested just to know the opulences itself, but he wants to know the Krishna's glories. Like it's not the counting, the numbers, but it's actually the glories. And that glory is actually satisfied. It is a shloka recited by, this is from the 3rd canto, Glories of Devotional Service, 3:25-25. Satam prasanga mama virya samvito bhavanti hrit khannaya rasayana kathaha tad joshanad asi apavarga vartamani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramasyati. So in the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and to the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. So here Kapila Muni is saying that, one has to be in the association of devotees. When they are in the association of devotees, that discussions actually churn and they break all the bondages in our hearts. They liberate us and it pushes us towards to begin a real devotion. So similar is here. Like when Arjuna is asking that I want to know more about your glories, how can I meditate, how can I see? He is focusing on us that, the common man is, how can he be engaged? How can he appreciate the glories and how he can relish those glories, the nectar? Now, here Krishna says that I will discuss only the prominent ones, like the most important ones I will discuss. Now, in this chapter, there are 82 opulences described. Now, does anyone know the meaning of Bhagavan? What does Bhagavan means? We just recited Bhagavan uvāca, right? Right. The Bhagavan means one who possesses 6 opulences unlimitedly, right? What is the 6 opulences? Renunciation, vairagya, beauty, fame, strength. Renunciation, fame, beauty, strength, wealth, and then one more. No? Knowledge. Knowledge. Right? So, and then if you see in this Vibhuti Yoga, all those opulences fall into some of these categories. Right? And we are attracted when we hear how are actually manifestations of Krishna, we are actually attracted to these 6 different characteristics or opulences of Krishna. Right? Now, what is Vibhuti means? V means exceptional. Bhuti means existence. So V means also Vishaya, like very special. So there are many manifestations of Krishna. But we are not attracted to everything, isn't it? We are not attracted. But we are attracted to something which is very extraordinary, for sure. Right? In the world. Like someone is very famous. There's so many famous people, but there is something in that particular person that attracts us. Or a certain place or certain thing. There is something extraordinary. So Krishna is also telling that I'm just going to give you I'm going to list some of my extraordinary opulences, not everything. Now, Prabhupada here says that two people, they won't be able to appreciate this. Who are those two people mentioned? One is the impersonalist and one is the pantheist. So who is pantheist? A person who thinks nature is God, right? But they don't see nature is coming from God. They think nature itself is God, right? That's one. Then second is impersonalist. For impersonalist, they accept Brahman, but they think this is false or it's illusion. And they think that the living entities are extensions of that Brahman. But actually, if you take Brahma Samhita, I forgot the sloka. Brahmaji says that, all these vibhutis are actually coming from the Supreme Brahman. I don't remember the shloka, but yeah. So then we are understanding the absolute truth covers even the Brahman aspect who has extraordinary opulences, right? Is everyone with me? Okay. Now, what is for us as the daily practitioners, what is that we learn from these opulences? First of all, it's a training ground for us to have a connection with the material things that we see and deal with to come closer to Krishna. This is the need or the purpose of this Vibhuti Yoga in our lives. Right? So, in this world, everyone is engaged, isn't it? We are engaged in the material things. But although we have this vision to uplift our Krishna consciousness, we do have a deep involvement in the material world. Right? So what is this Vibhuti Yoga is doing? It is giving us a bridge. It is acting like a bridge. How to connect with Krishna and Krishna's opulences in a way that we will be going towards Krishna. Now, not all of us, we are pujaris. We don't have this facility to go onto the altar and worship Krishna, right? We do have these tendencies to enjoy, right? Say, for example, there is a beautiful woman or a handsome man. We think that, oh, they're so beautiful, he's so handsome. So there is a tendency to enjoy. Or we see a beautiful flower. We have a tendency to use it. But when we are on the training ground to become a pujari, what is a pujari sees? When he sees a nice flower, he's thinking that, where can I put this flower? On the right hand side or on the left hand side or on the flute or make an anklet. You see? So the deity worship is helping. But similar is the Vibhuti Yoga. It is also training in the similar way that we can always think and remember Krishna. What are the two principles of Krishna consciousness? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, right? But if you see the qualities of people of Kali Yuga, I'm part of it. So what are the qualities that is described in the Bhagavatam? 1:10, yeah. The symptoms of Kali Yuga. Manda sumanda matayo. What was the shloka? Sorry, I should open. 1:10. Prayena alpayushya sabhya kalaosmi yuge janaha Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagya hi upadrita. So what is the qualities of us in this Kali Yuga? We are short-lived, very less time. We are always quarrelsome. We are lazy, misguided, unlucky, and always disturbed. That means we are full of distractions. So many distractions. And what is distraction means? Distraction means that which is, we are attracted to something, but not to Krishna. Right? So, but Krishna is channelizing a way that we can be attracted towards him by his own opulences. This morning what happened, there was a family coming into the temple. They had a little boy, and the boy doesn't want it to go. So he threw the tantrums, and okay, the parents left him on the floor, and mother walked away, father walked away. He was sitting so happily there, and then father comes from behind. He wants to see what the child is going to do. He's sitting there happily, not bothered where is the mother, where is the father. And he's sitting there. I thought that he might be crying, but he was not crying. He was chilled out. And I think father was watching him for 5-7 minutes. He lost his patience. He took him on his shoulder and took him to the temple. And I was thinking about Krishna. Krishna also does the same thing. Although he gives us that little independence to be in the material world, but he thinks that this is too much. Let me drag them, So he is always, like thinking ways. How can I attract this jiva towards me? Okay, they have some attraction, they want to be attracted. So why give something less? Let me show my divine opulences itself. Let them be connected towards me. So this is the mercy of the Lord. And the more we can understand the mercy of the Lord, what happens? We will develop gratitude. And also that sincere desire. Initially, honestly speaking, when I was reading Bhagavad Gita for the first time, when I was reading this particular chapter, my mindset was that I was so impure, still I am. I was thinking that why is Krishna boasting about himself? You see? And we think that my education has made me very, qualified. But where is the qualification? I can't even understand Krishna's words. But it took me years to understand one little thing. Krishna doesn't want to boost. It is us we want to boost about ourselves. In every given situation. Why is Krishna even telling these 82 opulences? To somehow or the other create that attraction. And sometimes I keep thinking when we see Krishna Balaram, Gauranitai or Radhesham Sundar, they mention all the Shastras, all the Gurus, Prabhupada, everyone says that Krishna is all attractive. And I keep thinking, why I'm not attracted? He's all attractive, but why I'm not attracted? Because the fact is that we are so distracted. That's why we are not attracted. But Krishna is giving us ways, means to push us towards him. So yoga means connection. And unlike other paths, it's not about neti principle, like this minus, this minus, this minus. But bhakti means adding Krishna, creating that connection with Krishna. So Vibhuti Yoga is also doing the same thing. Like, it is integrating the spirit of bhakti. How one can have the material perception into the spiritual practice, right? How we can bring that material aspects but connect with Krishna and it becomes Krishna conscious. And this is beautiful, isn't it? And Krishna is making it super easy. Now, there's another example I was thinking from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vasudev Dutt, he tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you take away all the sins from all these people and give it to me. Let them be liberated. Let them go to go to Goloka Vrindavan, go to the spiritual world. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first appreciates Vasudeva Datta's mood, that, only devotee can think like this. because they're paradukhi dukhi, paradukha dukhi, right? They cannot see the distress of any other living entities. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, but do you think for Krishna to liberate all these living entities, is it very hard? Is it very hard? And he says that it's like this whole material manifestation is like mustard seeds. And if one mustard seed slips off, is there any problem? Say, for example, in our kitchens, there is 25 kilos of bag of mustard seeds, right? And one mustard seed is gone missing. Then are we admitted in ICU? Do we have any panic attacks? Nothing happens to us, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining how it doesn't make any difference for Krishna. Again, the whole universe can be filled up with so many living entities, right? But then you see, if you go deeper, I was just reflecting on that point. Actually, this mustard seed is not big thing for Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But you see the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he cares even for the living entities in that little mustard seed, right? He comes to this material world, starts the Sankirtan Yajna for the people who are the most fallen, who are always troublesome, who are always quarrelsome, and who are lazy, misguided, distracted. He comes and he starts this Sankirtan moment simply by chanting 16 syllables. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then, to make it much more further easy, Srila Prabhupada comes. He starts ISKCON and we come join ISKCON. Then it's much more easy. Just stand 16 rounds, eat prasadam, live amongst the devotees, practice bhakti. So how the process has been very, very simplified, right? It is only that little mustard seed. And what is our role in that one little mustard seed? It's not so much, but our minds are distracted. There is a chapter in 11th canto. Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. Then Uddhava asks a question. According to you, the whole material world, you have divided into 24 elements, material elements. But there are different philosophers, they divide into different numbering. Some 26, some 21, some 7, some 4, some 5. Why is it so? Then Krishna starts to explain that they all calculate, they might be differing a little bit, not so much. But the most important thing is that the living entity has to get out of this material complexity. And then he gives an example that how the father, he's a good father. But because he has a bad son, he's always implicated, to defend the bad son from others. He makes the son's enemies as his own enemies. Although he's good in person, he's getting into conflicts. So, similarly, the soul is good. Soul is Sachidananda. It has nothing to do with the body. But because of the mind being involved in the material sense gratification, there is a constant struggle. So you see how 9th chapter ends. Krishna gives the tool. Man mana man bhakto. He's first telling you engage your mind. And in the 10th chapter, he's giving different opulences. How with the mind you can, meditate upon me. So see how he's laying out the connection. He's making it super easy. It is not difficult. So Vibhuti Yoga especially should help us to appreciate the Lord. It should help us to celebrate the grandeur of Krishna's opulences. And also we should bring it into our daily practice so that, eventually we will try to see Krishna everywhere. Right? That's what I wanted to share. If there are any questions or comments or corrections, I would be very happy to take, or any points that strike you. Anything anyone wants to share? No one wants to share. So we can close here. That's an early close to class. But thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.